Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Daily Creative Challenge day number, drum roll, because I forgot already. I believe it's day number 7. Day number 7 of the XD Daily Creative Challenge. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a great Wednesday. Hump day, yeah. If you are joining me live on Behance, let us know who you are, where you're from. Good morning to Daniel and Chris and Ash and Zenab, and I probably pronounce a lot of people's names incorrectly. I apologize. And Anna and Mehdi. Welcome to everyone who's joining me. Hope you're all doing well. I'm having a great day. It's bright and early in San Francisco. It's not raining yet. It's a good day. Yeah. So today we have day number 7 of the XD Daily Creative Challenge coming at you. And let me hop over to my screen to explain what exactly is going on. So, we also have all this amazing stuff coming up. We are in the midst of UI and UX. We kicked off yesterday with Kat and Melody, and then Ayana and Zach came up at 11 o'clock, and 1 o'clock we had Jermaine and Melody again, which is great. So a lot of great UI and UX stuff coming up right after this stream, so stick around for that. You're gonna learn a lot, especially if you're a budding UI and UX eventually expert. Yeah, or if you are an expert, you'll probably learn some stuff as well. Great guests, great hosts. And hey, Karsten and Jude and John and all these amazing people who are just joining me. So, what's the XD Daily Creative Challenge? If you are brand new to this, basically every single day starting last week, we give you a theme. And this is where you're gonna find it. Behance.net/Daily Creative Challenge. Pretty easy to remember. If you haven't yet, press that big blue register button at the top so you know when we release new challenges. Like this morning, you probably got a notification through your Creative Cloud app. And if you didn't, you can always get one on Slack, and we have a great Slack community, which I'll show you in a second. So each day you'll receive a challenge. You'll join us at 8:30 a.m. every single day. I will be here kicking off every theme. And then you're gonna use Adobe XD to design and prototype whatever that theme might be. And if you've been noticing over the last 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, we're almost at 2 weeks, that's crazy. We've kind of been touching on smaller elements that fit into larger projects, like, what do we do? Smartwatch, like sending stuff like that, sending cash, or pull to refresh, things like that you can kind of fit into some of your projects using Auto Animate and things like that. And we also now have Auto Animate on the web. And if we have some time at the end of this stream, I'll show you that again. And then you have until February 1st to complete these challenges. But again, if you can't complete them by February 1st, don't worry about it, not a competition. Hey, Eric, welcome. To clients, I am an expert. To designers, I'm a piece of nothing. There you go. But work at it. And these daily creative challenges will definitely help you build up those skills so that designers don't look at you as a piece of nothing, right? We have XD completely for free. You can grab it, download it, have fun with it, and then join us on Slack. We did have some issues with the Slack link. I think it might be working now, but we do have a URL, bit.ly/XD Slack. Make sure the X and the D are capitalized. That way the link works. Otherwise it might not work, I don't know. But if I go over to my Slack channel, we have 12,549 people in our channel. That's crazy, that's a lot of people. Hey Dagny, welcome. A lot of names I recognize from either Slack or Behance or whatever. We have an introduction section, an ask a question section if you have questions about XD. If you run into bugs, which, happens from time to time, no software is perfect. But what's really cool about our Slack channel is we have engineers and product managers and me. I can't really help very much, but I'm in there. The XD team is in there answering questions, inquiring about things, because we're always trying to talk to designers to figure out what's next. We have a big roadmap in 2019. Chat section, and we might be introducing some sort of a pro tips section in Slack soon to give daily tips and tricks. So if you're not in Slack, get in Slack, it's a good time. So what are we doing today? Let me scroll down here. Today we are building a mobile notification experience on a phone, whether it's an iPhone, a Samsung, a Pixel, whatever phone floats your boat, we're gonna be doing that. And you can grab the template right here at the bottom, provided by the amazing Marissa Blair. Not sure if she's in the chat, but if you are Marissa, thank you. You can watch a video to get started. And should we do this? We should do this. Let's hop over to XD. Usually I do review some previous day's entries, but because yesterday was focused on voice, and voice is not very easy to upload to Behance, and we don't really allow you to export it directly with voice because of security reasons and all that sort of mumbo jumbo. I'm not reviewing stuff today, but on Friday we're gonna be reviewing a lot of stuff. We're gonna take a look at some of the coolest challenges and entries that came in over the last 2 weeks. So here is the template that you're starting with. And again, your challenge is to design and prototype a mobile notification experience for a lock screen. And Marissa has provided you with a ton of different things, from colors to buttons that you might use on a screen like this, to icons, a little card to get you going, and even some padding and safe area, which is very important when you're designing for phones or watches or tablets, because there are areas, especially on the iPhone 10, especially down here, that you're not really supposed to design underneath. You're not supposed to have any active elements under there. You can put something down here, but you can't really tap on it because that's where the little home indicator is that you swipe up. And hey, Jan, welcome. No review today, but tomorrow we will have a review of today's theme, and then Friday, big review. So, and here's a user flow you can kind of go over to get you started, and then some inspiration. So, let's get started. So here is the screen we're gonna be working from, and I'm just gonna, start from what Marissa provided to us. And I'm going to start by hiding the iPhone 10 display area, which has all these little elements on it. But I'll keep that in the back of my mind, but it's there to definitely guide you, because remember, you can't have anything up here because it's not going to be seen, but you could have stuff up here. Kind of tricky to work with, but I'm going to hide that so I have access to my background. And one of the coolest things I love about XD, it's so simple, but it's so cool, is that you can drag images directly into any shape and it becomes masked. So I'm going to go over to Finder, and I have over here some stock photos from Adobe Stock, some of them from Unsplash. And this photo looks pretty good. I can use that as my background, drag this in, pop it in, and there I have my background. I can easily double click on it if I want to resize it. I believe this was taken in Japan, not by me. I wish it was taken by me. I want to go to Japan very badly. I'm gonna move this around. Where it looks good? That looks pretty good right about there. Great. All right. So now that that's done, I'm only gonna focus on one card. So I'm gonna actually delete this one, and we will start customizing this card. The voice, awesome, yeah. So it looks like some people are having some good success, thanks Anel, with some of the voice stuff that we demoed yesterday. And there were some updates to voice, new voices. So if you're in the English version of Adobe XD, there's, I think, 6 or 7 different voices you can choose. And depending on your localization within your computer settings, there may be, as many as 6 or 7, or there could be just 1, could be 3, who knows. But more coming. So let's go ahead and start customizing this. I'm just gonna dive in, and you're gonna notice that we have a little mask over here. So Marissa provided us with a nice little mask, which is gonna come in handy, and you'll see that in a little bit. So let's go this. This will be, let's say, messages. And I'm gonna send a message to myself. This will be from Howard Pinsky. That is me. Did you see the latest, whoops, Adobe, I can't spell this morning. It's pretty, I'm under pressure. Go check it out. There we go. Great. So we basically have a notification. Pretty simple, right? But how do we actually expand it and be able to do something with it? So I'm going to duplicate this artboard over to the right. But before I do that, I have a few more things I just noticed. The messages icon, it needs something in it. So let's go over to Finder again. I have a little messages icon over here. Again, with a shape, I can just drag it right on top and it becomes masked. And now I have a messages icon. And you might also notice that the background of the shape has a nice little background blur on it. And if let me increase this a little bit, or decrease it, you can kind of really start to see that really cool background that renders in real time as I move this around. So let me undo that. I'm gonna duplicate this artboard over to the right. So select the artboard, Command and Control D, boop, pops it right over there. And I'm keeping in the back of my mind that this is going to auto animate, right? So I'm gonna, let's say, move this earlier today up a little bit and decrease its opacity to 0, so it kind of fades away. And now we want to modify all of these elements. So I'm going to increase the size of this, and I can do it from the center by holding down Alt or Option. That looks good right about there. Messages and the icon. Let's move the icon up to the top. Move messages up. Now you're noticing that because we're working with a mask, when I move that up and I click away, it disappears because I haven't, at this point, adjusted the size of the mask as well. So I can just do that just like I did with the background shape. And now messages appears. All right, now the close icon, I'm gonna move above because I believe that's consistent with the iPhone experience. And I'm going to select this one and just increase the opacity so we can see it a little bit more. 2 minutes ago, I can probably just move up and decrease again. And this, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So we're basically gonna have two states. We're gonna have one state where it expands, and then it's gonna go to time transition, and it's going to appear as like a little bit of a bubble. And that's kind of consistent with if you kind of hold your finger down when a notification pops up on your iPhone, it kind of does that little animation. And I believe I do have it on my phone. I'll show it eventually. But if you do kind of take a quick look, you'll notice that. And I'm also going to increase the opacity of this guy right here, just so it's a little bit easier to see once we do start adding those notifications. So this is the second state. I might want to actually move this stuff down because it's too close to that lock icon at the top. There we go. That looks good. All right, so the next screen is actually we're going to introduce that bubble. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop into my mask, grab my rectangle tool from the left, and simply draw out a shape. And I'll put it right about here. That looks pretty good. I can turn off the border and make it some sort of a gray color, right about there. Now, of course, this looks very square, very sharp. We don't want that. We want nice rounded edges. So if I go zoom in here, we have these little tiny dots on the four corners, and I can just grab those, drag them in to have a nice rounded corner. And then I can just go ahead and type in what I had before. I don't remember what I had before, so what I'm going to do is go over here. I'm just going to find that content, copy it, go back over here. Actually, you know what? I do have it, but I'll do it again. Boop, paste. And it is a different size. And I believe on the iPhone, things are a little bit, the organization changes a little bit. So you had the name up here. There we go, that's me. I'm gonna decrease the opacity a little bit. Actually, no, the name was up here. That's where the name was. And definitely use your phones as a reference to figure out exactly where things are supposed to go. I'm gonna bring this in. That's a cool thing about area text. You can just drag it and it fits everything within it. Pop it right about there. I can decrease this a little bit. And maybe I'm gonna increase the line spacing just a touch so it's a little bit easier to read, and drag this down. And as I'm doing this, the smart guides on Adobe XD are kind of letting me know when things are lined up in the center, on, you know, horizontally, vertically, that sort of thing. Perfect, that looks great. And I'm gonna move this right about here. And I believe on the iPhone, there's also, it says today at, what time is it right now? 8:45 a.m. And I'm gonna mess with the styling a little bit. So this will be, let's see, a little bit bold. You know, I'm gonna change the font completely, because Apple uses the San Francisco Pro font. There we go. This is going to be, let's go for medium. And I'm gonna decrease the opacity, or just the coloring a little bit on this, and this as well. Great, move it in the center, and things are starting to look pretty good. Fairly consistent with iOS, I believe. Great. Now, there's one thing that is missing, one very big thing. When you do hold down on a notification and it expands, something does happen. Not only does it expand and not only does the message pop up, but a keyboard pops up as well. So we're missing a keyboard. And that's kind of where the iOS UI kit comes into play. And there's one for Google, there's one for Microsoft, I believe, or Windows. And down here we have our keyboard. So I'm gonna grab that keyboard, copy it, hop over here. I'm gonna just, let's say, duplicate this entire artboard, and I'm just going to delete everything. You could have also made a brand new one and just paste this artboard on this document. I'm gonna move it to the top, and we're going to be using an overlay. And one of the cool things I love about overlays is that you can link to an overlay from many different screens. So you can just have one little element like a keyboard, and it can be used on so many different screens. So with that said, we have all of our artboards set up. This is probably a little bit too big, so I'm gonna just decrease this a touch. That looks good. And now it's time to actually wire this thing up. So I'm gonna hop into prototype mode, and we're gonna get going. So the first artboard, I basically want when someone, in this case, just taps on it, but on iOS, you have to push down with force touch. But for this example, we'll just tap on it. We'll go to this artboard. It's gonna be a tap trigger. We wanna do auto animate because we did make sure that the layer names across both artboards line up and that content is there. We'll do a nice little snap at the top so it kind of snaps into place. And we'll do, let's say 0.6 seconds. We might have to decrease that a little bit. Now, once it gets to this point, we want it to automatically go to the next artboard. So I'm gonna do that, pop it over here. And you know what? I am noticing that the sizes are different. So I'm just going to make sure that this aligns. What was the height of this one? The height was 325. Make sure it's the same. There we go. I think that looked the same, right? Yeah, it looks the same. Great. So back in prototype mode, we want this artboard, once it gets here, to automatically transition to the next one. So I'm gonna drag, making sure the entire artboard is selected, drag this over to the third artboard. It's gonna be a time transition, which again is only available with an entire artboard, no delay. And then we don't need auto animate because nothing's really moving into place. The message is basically just gonna pop into place, right? So we're gonna do a transition. We can do a dissolve or we can do none, so it just pops. When your creative director says, can you make this pop? This is what you want. And then from here, we also want another time transition that goes to a keyboard. So I'm gonna do, again, select the entire artboard, drag this over to the keyboard. It's gonna be a time transition, 0 seconds, select overlay, and we wanna make sure that it slides up from the bottom, and it automatically places it at the bottom because when you select slide up, it assumes that it's gonna nicely rest into place. But you can always move it around if you need to. There we go. So this thing is wired up and ready to go. Let's press play and see what happens. So at this point, we're at this notification screen. We tap on this, it expands, the message pops, the keyboard slides up from the bottom. Pretty neat. And you can go ahead and type in and all that fun stuff, whatever you want. But what's really cool, as of, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. What day is it? No, as of Monday, I think. Auto Animate is now available on the web. So once I'm at this point in the project, I'm really happy with the way things are looking. I can actually publish this, make a Behance project, whatever it might be. So I'm going to make sure that this is my home screen. I'm going to press on this little home icon right here. Boop. Whoops. Boop. That is the home screen. So basically, if nothing is selected at this point and I simply press the play button, it's automatically gonna go to that screen. It's gonna do its thing and it's gonna look great. So now how do we publish this thing on Behance or anywhere, right? If we go to share button at the top, we can publish for review or development. If you are at the point where you're working with developers and they need access to colors, character styles, assets that are marked for download, they'll be able to grab that there. But in this case, we want comments, we want to share it with the world. So we're gonna share it for review. We're gonna name this notifications. We're gonna allow comments. Probably don't have to open it in full screen because it's not a massive project. And you must remember to boop. Yes, very important part of design. You're not a designer if you don't boop. It's a true story. Hotspot hints are great, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. I'm not gonna worry about passwords or private links, but if you are worried about security, that is there for you. So I'm gonna create the public link. Shouldn't take very long because it's a fairly small project. Go, go, go. And there it is. So now you have a few options. You can copy the embed code to paste it on Behance. You can copy a link to share it with your friends, Twitter, whatever it might be. Yes, Anzi, can Adobe XD implement the boop into the program? I think I'm gonna talk to the team about that. I know they're working on some big updates to symbols and things like that in live collaboration, but I think boop is where it's at. I'm gonna tell them to stop all that other stuff. So let's go ahead and open in the browser, see what that looks like. And when we open in the browser, XD is going to start, well, not XD, the browser is gonna start loading in all of our various elements. And just like I'm able to preview it on the desktop, I can now click. And if I don't know where to click, I can just click on anything, and it's gonna kind of flash and let me know that you gotta click on this. And it looks exactly like it does on my desktop. The animation is silky smooth and it just works, which is great. And I can go to the home screen, I can navigate the artboards down to the bottom, and it just does its thing. So that's cool. Now, what if you want to actually publish this on Behance like a lot of you are doing? So back in XD, I can grab this embed code. I can just click on this one right here. It's going to automatically copy it to my clipboard. And if I go to Behance, I'm going to sign in. Maybe. I might sign in. There we go. Hop over to my profile. Let's create a new project. I should probably check my notifications at some point. But once I'm in this project view, I can simply press embed and I can paste the embed code right in here, press embed, and it's automatically going to, where is it? There it is. Here's my project. And if I preview this, I can see exactly what it's gonna look like. I can click to launch the prototype, and there it is. Pretty cool stuff. So now you can embed this stuff directly into your Behance project. At the moment, drag doesn't work exactly as intended, but they are working on that, so hopefully not too long. But that is there. And let me show you one more example of a published Behance Pro, or at least a published prototype with, what's it called? Auto Animate working. So let me very quickly wire this one up. Today goes over here. Let's go, week is on this screen. Month, I'm going to drag to the, where is it? Down here? Down here. No. Where is it? Month is going to be this one. This one. There we go. Tap. It's going to be auto animate. We will do, what did I use for this one? Auto animate snap. Okay. Auto animate snap. 0.8 seconds, I believe that was. Yep. And these are going to be a time transition. So once it gets here, it's automatically going to go to this artboard. 0 seconds. Snap. Great. Now if I share this, I'm going to make this my home screen, share for review. I'm going to update the link. Here it goes. Possibly. And when I open it up in my browser, again, it's going to load in all that good stuff, all those layers, and when I click on something, it's going to transition and do its magical stuff. So auto animate on the web, it's going to be great for all of your projects that you're all working on for these daily challenges and whatever it is else you might be working on. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Notification experience on your mobile app. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 8:30 kicking off day 8. And then day 9 is gonna be a big review, but stick around. We have Kat and Melody coming up in just a few minutes, and I'll see you all very soon. See ya.